miss out on, so I'm going to explain something very, very awesome about Facebook, and this will change everything. So let's see. Um, we're going to use the law of implication, and on the one extreme right here, we have, and here we have another extreme, right? So on one extreme right here, Facebook has no idea who to show the ads to, right? So if we optimize for purchase and we have a particular product and a particular ad and all of that good stuff, then if it's person A or person B, or if it's me or you or a friend, or it doesn't really matter, it's just gonna go after that person. So this is clearly not the case, right? On the other extreme, Facebook knows exactly like 100% who the person that's gonna purchase is. So if it knew for 100% certainty, then it would only go after those people, but it doesn't. So that's why the cost per purchase is higher, right? If it went for every single, just to the people that it knew that they're going to purchase, it would have been a perfect algorithm, right? So we don't have this extreme and we don't have this extreme, right? So the reality is that Facebook has a perception, we can say perception, of what people are probable to buy and which people are not probable to buy, right? So we can say that this person is less probable to buy, this person is more probable to buy, and this person is very probable to buy, and this person is extremely probable to buy, okay? Okay, so this is the Facebook perception. Now, in order to have this perception, it needs to have some sort of education, okay? Education. Okay, now education happens at two, potentially three levels, right? The pixel level is when it collects information from all of the activity that's associated with that pixel. And then it certainly has some sort of education at the ad set level. That's why if we run a completely new pixel, or if we go to a different ad account with a different pixel, so basically it's all about the pixel, its perception of the landscape of people is skewed, right? So, for example, this guy that should have been, this big in reality is perceived, like this. And because of this misperception, because of a lack of education, because of a lack of sales that Facebook analyzed, its perception is skewed, right? So we're gonna go back to how it's skewed and what the effects are, but let's imagine that it's not skewed, right? Let's imagine that in reality, those are the people in reality, based on the probability of them purchasing. And let's say that Facebook actually perceives them correctly, right? Okay. Now, each of those people have their mobile phones opened and they're ready to receive an ad. When they're ready to receive an ad, we and other advertisers are going to bid to show the ads to those people. We're going to enter an auction, right? Now, the auction bid that the ad account enters in for our ad account, the bid has to be proportional to the perception of the likelihood of them buying, right? So if Facebook is doing a good job, it should bid this amount for this type of person. It should bid this amount for this type of person. It should bid this amount and this amount. Now, you can see how if it had a bad perception, a skewed perception, it would bid high for the wrong person and it would not bid high for the good person. And that's the whole point. The micromanagement of bidding of Facebook has to takes into account its perception, and the closer its perception of the value of a person is to the reality of that person being valuable, the better. And that's the whole thing with with the pixel and the ad set optimization. Okay, so the reason why there's a need for education at the pixel level and at the ad set level is because each ad set will have a different targeting and it will have different ads, right? So if an ad set learns who the people buy from that specific audience and for those specific ads, those people might be different from the people from another ad set just because there's a different targeting in a different ad, right? So let's say for example there's a dress, and one ad set has an ad that talks about how women can be powerful by wearing the dress, and another ad set with another ad has the ad with them being elegant, right? So powerful or elegant, that's the marketing angle. So the ad set with the powerful angle will get purchases from women that want to be powerful, and the other one from women that want to be elegant. So then Facebook makes a profile, and it perceives the landscape of, okay, those are powerful people, those are elegant people, those are different from both of them. So you see how the ad set has to learn that it has to go for powerful people when it shows the powerful ad, and the ad set has to learn to go for elegant people when it shows the elegant ad, right? So that's why there's education at the ad set level, and why it's important to have a specific, characteristic, and individual education at the ad set level. But also, it's important to make sure each ad set doesn't start from scratch, right? So that's why Facebook introduced learning at the pixel level, so that each ad set, it's kind of like has the foundation already set correctly, right? And as long as we understand that we shouldn't launch, electronics using a pixel that's optimized for dresses, then we're good to go. But in the beginning, if the product we're advertising is radically different from the last product that we've advertised, then it's probably best to use a new pixel. Okay, so let's continue. I'm gonna move those up. Okay. Now, this is also very important because it becomes practical. The ad set starts off without any purchases, right? When it gets data, when it gets sales, it gets educated on which people particularly to go after with that particular targeting in that particular ad, right? On top of the pixel education. So the ad set plus 25 to 50 sales every 7 days. The reason why it's because of recency, right? So the competitive landscape changes, and that's why recency is an important factor, right? So it's not like Monday to Sunday and then next Monday we need again 25 to 50, like we start from scratch. No, it's like the past 7 days, right? So if it's Wednesday, it's going to take into account Monday and Tuesday, but it's also going to take account 5 days from last week, right? So it's the last 7 days. And it's not an absolute rule. It's just a recommendation because it makes sense, right? The more recent something is, the more it takes into account the competitive landscape and the season and all of that stuff, right? So an ad set with 25 to 50 sales in the past 7 weeks is an educated ad set, right? And because it's educated, it perceives people in the correct way, right? It perceives that the probable to buy person, in reality, it actually perceives it probable to buy. And the not probable to buy, in reality, it perceives it as non-probable to buy. Thus, an ad set like this knows how to micro bid low for this person and higher for those people. Okay. Okay. Now, there is free bidding options, right? There's the automatic bidding, there's the bid cap, and then there's the cost cap. Okay, so the automatic bidding has its maximum priority, max priority, to spend the daily budget. It doesn't spend daily budget. Its priority is not to get the lowest cost per purchase. Its priority is to spend the budget. That's why it actually manages to spend the budget every single time, right? As long as it doesn't reach the daily limit. It manages to do that. The priority of the bid cap, so max priority, is to not surpass the bid, and then to spend the daily budget. Okay, now let's see what happens in this situation, right? So we take those people, right? And let's say that Facebook actually perceives them as in the real way. Like, let's say that the ad set is educated, right? So in reality they are like this, and Facebook actually perceives them like this, right? So if we go for automatic bidding, then of course Facebook will spend $1 for this guy, $2. I mean, it's not dollars, but it's like units, right? It's microcents. Okay, now here's what happens. They take the daily budget and they break it down into pieces, and they basically assume, so for example, let's say that the daily budget is $240, so they break it down hour by hour. So they pretty much want to spend, because it's not accelerated bidding, it's standard bidding, so they pretty much want to spend $240 divided by 24, which is $10 per hour, right? So they want to spend $10 per hour. If we divide, they basically want to spend $1 per 6 minutes, right? Now, $1 per 6 minutes, so 100 cents divided by 6 minutes, so that's 16 cents per minute. Okay, now anyway, so they kind of do that way. Now if in that particular time, let's say in that particular 6 minutes, we don't have people like this, and we don't have people like this, but we have low quality people, right? Just because Facebook has to spend that money, it puts more money into the bids for those poor quality people, because their interest is in spending the money throughout the day. So Facebook knows it's bidding high on poor quality people, but its priority is to spend the daily budget. And then, in the next 6 minutes, people like this might pop up, and Facebook is like, oh wow, if only I didn't spend so much money. But I guess that we also want to spend a lot of money here, right? So they also put a lot of money on this guy, and they also put money on this guy. But then let's say that those people, like similar people as them, pop up again next, but now they can't put this money on this person anymore, because they've put the money here on this guy, right? So they spend money because they needed to spend money in those 6 minutes on poor quality people, and now they don't have the money to put on this important people that they actually perceive as important. So they realize that they are not doing us a great service, but it's because we chose the automatic bidding, right? So in some sense they actually learn from their mistakes and adjust, but given that each day is different and people come in at different hours, and sometimes poor quality people come and sometimes only good quality people come, the situation that was one day is not the second day, so they can't really make a rule out of it, and there's always going to be mismatch between what they retrospectively believe they should have done and what they actually did. Okay, so this is the problem with automatic bidding. They mismatch the bids to the quality of people, even though they know better, right? Because their priority is to spend the daily budget. Now, if we go here on top, and if their perception is skewed because there was a lack of education, then that's a completely different problem, right? Which is fixed by getting data in the pixel and not the ad set, right? But this is assuming that there was education. Okay, now let's talk about bid cap. Okay, so we're going to talk about bid cap now. Okay, so again, let's imagine the situation with those people. Okay, in the bid cap, we say that the bid cap should, like the maximum bid should either be this or should either be this, or should either be this, or should either be this. Okay. Now, if we choose like a low bid cap, which is this maximum bid, even though Facebook perceives that this guy is very, very important, they aren't allowed to bid more than this on this guy, right? And because the bid is so low, competitors are outbidding in the auction and they're winning this guy. And we're losing this guy because we're not prepared to bid more for this person, right? So that's why when we bid low, Facebook is not really spending money because competitors are outbidding us. Now, if we raise the budget, let's say we raise this, not the budget, the bid. If we raise this bid, then we can bid this on this guy and we're still losing it. We will bid this for this guy and we're gonna lose it. And we're gonna bid this for this guy and we're gonna win it. So we're gonna win this guy. But because it's a poor quality person, it won't buy. So, you know, it's like, it's not working well, right? Okay. Now let's say we put the bid cap to be very, very high, right? If it's very, very high, then Facebook bids high on this person and wins this person, right? It wins this person. But it also, you know, it also has such a huge bidding power that, you know, it's so hungry for winning auctions that, you know, it doesn't really care about anything else but to, you know, win auctions. So it's going to bid this high for this person as well, and it's going to win this person, it's going to win this person, it's going to win every single bid, right? It's going to take all the people from other advertisers and it's going to win the bid. But it's going to burn the budget, because when we win an auction, then we, you know, pay Facebook. If we lose an auction, then Facebook doesn't take the money from us. It takes the money from the person that won the bid, right? So if we win every single bid, we're going to burn the money in 1 hour. If it's accelerated bid, if it's standard, then we're still going to burn the money on people like this, because, you know, Facebook is just interested in winning the auctions. So you can see that going for a very low bid is bad, because we're not getting to the important people, and putting a very high bid is not good either, because we're winning everything but we're spending money on bad people. So that's why people you know, say that we should know the particular bid that we should put, right? For example, let's say that this is the perfect bid, right? And here's why it might be the case. So we're gonna put this particular bid on this person, and this particular bid on this person, and this particular bid on this person, and this particular bid on this person, right? So we're in a situation where we're not putting 4 units on each one of them, right? So we're not spending as much money as if we were to put this. And we're gonna win this guy. Unfortunately, we're gonna overspend on those guys. So, but there are situations where the competitors will not bid on this guy, either because they don't perceive this guy to be important for their particular product and their particular ads, or, you know, there simply isn't competition on the market for this type of guy, right? So we might actually win the auction with a smaller bid than if we were to put 4 units, right? So there are cases where we win this, there are cases when we don't win this, but when we win this auction, we're going to win this for less units than in the automatic bidding, but we're also going to overspend on this guy, right? So we're going to overspend on this guy, and we're going to buy this at a discount, right? So you see, the more the bid goes low towards, you know, 1 unit, the more we're gonna buy this at a discount, but the less people we're gonna find to buy at the discount, because everybody else would buy, but we're actually gonna bid correctly on the low quality ad. And reversely, as the bid increases, we're gonna win more and more people like this, but we're gonna pay a higher price, and we're also gonna pay a high price on low quality people, right? So that's why there is such a thing called as, you know, as the perfect bid, right? Again, you know, every single day is different, everything fluctuates, and that's why this strategy might work sometimes and other times might not work. And it requires, you know, a lot of attention and to be constantly on the lookout, right? To adjust bids and all of that stuff, right? So bid cap can work, but it's very difficult, and sometimes it might not work even though you do everything that's necessary, right? So we talked about how automatic bidding has a downfall. We talked about how bid cap is really complicated and it might work or it might not work. And now I'm gonna explain why the cost cap is the most incredible thing ever, if it's done correctly. Okay, so here's how cost cap works. Again, let's imagine that those are the 4 people. And again, we assume that Facebook has done the learning and perceives them as they are in the level of importance for the particular product. Okay, so in the cost cap, the cost cap is basically when we say, hey Facebook, I want to spend $40 on a sale, right? So this becomes priority. This becomes priority. The spending of the budget is not a priority. It's a secondary priority to spend the money, but its main priority is to get $40 per sale, right? Now, assuming that Facebook perceives those people as they are in reality, then of course Facebook will micromanage the bids in each auction to correlate with the estimation of importance of every single person. So in the cost cap, Facebook actually matches the bid to the particular value of each person. You see, in the bid cap, it either overbid or underbid, and in the automatic bidding, it had the priority of spending the money, even though it knew that sometimes it paid a lot for low quality people, and then it realized it doesn't have enough money for good quality people. Whereas in cost cap, Facebook realizes that its priority is to correlate the bid with the quality of people. Okay, now the main problem with the cost cap is the following. Sometimes it doesn't spend, right? Okay, so I'm going to represent this on a graph, and we're going to take this person, we're going to put it here. Actually, let's put it here, and this person here, and this guy here, and this guy here. And now let's put a line. Okay, so a lot of money has to go here in the bids, right? Okay, now if the cost if we say we want $40 per sale, this line, so this is we can call it the reality line, right? So okay, anyway, in order to understand what the reality line in this example is, we have to compare it with 2 different lines. Okay, so if we say, hey Facebook, I want the cost cap to be $200, right? So I'm prepared to pay $200 for a sale. Then Facebook is gonna bid this amount for this poor quality person. It's gonna bid this amount for this person. It's gonna bid this amount for this person, and it's gonna bid this amount, you see, for this person, right? So it's gonna bid a lot and less and less and less, right? But you see how here it's bidding more than here in the reality line. So let's say the reality line is Facebook can get $50 per sale. Now if we tell Facebook, hey Facebook, we want $40 per sale, so we put $40 per sale here, then let's say that this line is like this here, and this is really cool because this explains everything. You see, it's gonna bid like let's say 3 points here, 2 points here, 1 point here, and 0 here, right? Now, usually people like this are 1 at 4 points like this, and usually people like this are 1 at 3 points like this, and this is 1 at 2. So this is the reality. But when we say, hey Facebook, we want $40 per sale, it's gonna bid a little bit less at each point, right? So then we simply have to wait such that, you know, a very, very high quality person and other competitors don't really enter the auction to win this guy for 4 points. They actually don't enter, where they enter with, you know, 2.5 points, and we enter with 3 points, and we win this guy at 3 points. And then again, this guy would have easily been won with 3 points, but we always enter for this type of person with 2 points. So that's why when we say to Facebook, hey, we want $40 cost per sale, it's gonna achieve the $40 cost per sale, but it's gonna refuse to win a lot of other auctions just because it simply has to pay more to win those auctions, which overall might result in a higher cost per purchase. Here, when we say, hey Facebook, give us $50 cost per purchase, it's actually gonna bid correctly, and it's gonna win a lot of auctions, and it's gonna get more sales, but at $50. And here, if we say, hey Facebook, give us sales for $200, it's gonna win almost all the auctions, and it's gonna spend a lot of money, and it's gonna achieve the target of $200, right? So this is a larger, more expensive net, and this is a very small, least expensive net. And that's how cost cap works. It's really interesting to see, you know, using this graphic of how the correlated bids to each quality of person decreases, you know, proportionally to the value of people in each case. And that's why when we set a bid for $40, it doesn't really spend, but it does achieve the $40 as long as it's educated. And here it actually achieves the $50, and here it actually achieves the $200. So it's not that, you know, we set a bid cap for $200 and it gets a $200, and we think that, oh well, I mean, if we set it for $50, it wouldn't have got purchases because, you know, this is how much we have to pay for purchase, which is $200. No, if we say cost cap of $200, it's gonna go for the strategy of $200, right? That doesn't mean that it can't get sales for $40 or $50. So that's you know, this is the best strategy for e-commerce, the cost cap. Okay, so what are the steps? Well, the ad set has to, you know, use a pixel that's educated, and it has to optimize by getting, you know, 25 to 50 sales in the last 7 days, right? Once the ad set has been optimized, then we use automatic bidding for the ad set until it optimizes, and then we go for a cost cap that's around the cost per purchase of what the automatic bidding gave us, and then try to reduce it, you know, like not significantly, like a little bit, until, you know, we see that it doesn't really spend anymore, and then, you know, we kind of know that that's the sweet spot where, you know, it can get a very low cost per purchase, but it can actually get people, right, instead of losing out on a lot of auctions, right? So the beautiful thing with cost cap is, you know, let's say that we set the cost cap of $45 per sale, right? And we put a daily budget of, let's say, $10,000, and it doesn't spend, like we don't control scaling based on the budget. We control scaling based on the cost per purchase, right? Because if there is going to be a lot of sales for $45, right, and this is going to spend, let's say, $2,000 a day, then we simply say, hey Facebook, give us sales for $40, and because we're limiting the auctions that we're going to enter, then Facebook is only going to spend $1,000, right? So then it's going to be an equation that we think about, which is, you know, based on profits, right? Do we want more volume at a higher cost per purchase, or do we want less volume at a lower cost per purchase, right? So we don't scale with the budget, we scale by controlling the bid, which controls the cost per purchase and the amount of sales we can get by entering those auctions with this particular strategy. So of course, apart from everything that I've discussed, it's not only about this, but it's also about two other important things, which are split testing targeting and split testing ads. Split testing ads is the most important part, and then there's split testing interest. And then we have this structure that I showed, and this structure applied to good ads and good targeting, which is applied to a great product page and a great product. That's the secret recipe to Facebook with e-commerce. Yeah, that's it. It's really decisive, and this is the understanding.